Hi Stampers, welcome to Video Friday. This is Trevis and I'm here to use a stamp set that I don't know if I've used this before in a video. It's called Coffee with Friends. Okay, so if you know me, you know I am a coffee drinker and I love this stamp set. Actually, when I saw it in the catalog, and it's on page, in case you're interested, page 105 of the annual catalog, I actually saw this picture, okay? And I'm like, oh, that looks like my daughter and me sitting on a park bench. And I love croissants, so I'm looking at that. But today I'm going to be using this image. And I have a friend who recently had some surgery, so she is going to be getting this card because I am thinking of her. So I like it because it just says thinking of you, right? And then separately, and coffee too. But I'm not going to use the and coffee. I'm just going to use the thinking of you. I'm sitting there with a cup of coffee. Anyway, I am going to be using my water painter today, and I'm going to be using my markers, my Stampin Write markers. I kind of was indecisive. Should I use my blends or should I use my my water painter? And I kind of decided to go with this. So I'm going to be using Stazon ink to stamp the image. And the reason is because if you're using a water-based anything to color it in, you kind of really do need to use Stazon ink to keep it from bleeding and smearing. So we're going to use that today. Okay, let's get started today. Do a lot of talking about different inks and things like that. Okay, so what I did in advance was I did cut out my piece from my Fluid 100 watercolor paper. And this paper is, you get, I think how many sheets is in here? You get a lot. You actually get 10 sheets, and they're nice size. They're 5x7. Okay, so it's nice heavy watercolor paper. So what I did was I used my dies. I cut this out of scalloped contours. Okay, so I cut that out in advance. And then I also cut out a smaller one. If you don't have these dies, they are some of my favorites because there's so many different sizes and shapes. There's actually 8 different dies in here. And of course we have this one. We have the small one that cuts out this, and I just cut that out of basic white cardstock. This is watercolor paper, but that's just basic white. There's a smaller scallop. Okay, so there's that. And then there's 2 larger ones. And then this also coordinates with a stamp set. So you have a scallop, very nice. And then you also have the 2 that cut out the stamps, okay, that you stamp. All right, let's put these away. And then I'm going to go ahead and stamp my image. So I have to be good with this because I only cut out one, so I don't want to mess this up, right? So I'm going to stamp this in Stazon. So we have 2 different Stazon colors. We have jet black, and then we have the brown. I think it's timber brown. No, saddle brown. And they are reinkable. These are solvent ink, so they will stain your stamps. I don't recommend using them with photopolymer, although we do it. It's not the ink that messes up the photopolymer, it's the remover. So I'm just not a fan of using my photopolymer stamps, but great for red rubber. Okay, so these are reinkable, right? And there's a little clear, it's stuck in here. There's a little clear lid. You don't want to throw that away. You want to keep that. In fact, I put a big glue dot there and I keep it in there, and it keeps your pad juicier, okay, from drying out. Okay, usually I go upside down with these, and the reason is because I want to make sure I get the full image inked up, and this is the easier way to do it for me. Okay, looking good. So yeah, there's a bottle of reinker that you can use, so you never have to keep buying the pads. Solvent ink is different from craft ink, from just basic water, you know, regular basic ink, okay, because it is solvent. Okay, so I'm just going to stamp that on here. Let's pray I get it on there right. Otherwise, I'm going to have to get up and cut another one. Oop. Did I do it? Ah, good. Okay, now, I'm gonna put that aside. It doesn't really take long to dry, but I'm gonna put that aside. I'm gonna clean my stamp. Okay, so you will need to use your Stazon cleaner, okay, so that it doesn't stain your stamp. You're just gonna dab, it's got a little dabber, and you're gonna dab that on, and then you're gonna let it sit, and then you're gonna clean it on your scrub or your, actually I prefer to clean it on a scrub. I didn't bring my scrub over here, but I prefer to clean it on a scrub. Okay, it works better than using it on my chamois. Okay, while I have my stamps out, I'm going to go ahead and stamp the image on my little other piece, and it's Thinking of You. And I'm just going to stamp this in Memento Black. Okay. So we have that done. I think we're all done stamping now. Okay. Now I'm going to put that aside. I'm going to start coloring. So I'm going to be using my Stampin' Write markers, as I said. If you can use your pads if you want, but Stampin' Write markers work great if you want to make a little palette. Okay, so I'm going to use my my block, and I'm going to put some different inks on here. So I'm going to use, my first color I'm going to use is Lost Lagoon. So I'm just going to scrape some Lost Lagoon ink on here. And then I'm going to put a little petal pink. I'm using the brush side, and I'm just I'm using the side of it so I don't squish my tip. Okay, so these are the new Stampin' Write markers. They look a little different than the old ones in that this tip is awesome now. It's not so pointy and useless. It actually has a nice little point on it that you can actually use. I love it. And I always store mine sideways so that the ink is on both ends when I need it. If you store them this way, as the ink goes down, this end won't have any ink in it, right? Okay. And then the next color I'm going to use is I'm going to do her hair in, I think I'm going to use, I'm going to put some gray on here. So I'm going to use some gray. So this is smoky, no, gray granite. Okay. Okay, so let's just work with that for now. Now I'm going to use my water painter, as I said. So these come in a pack of 3, and you just fill them, reuse them over and over and over, right? You don't have to keep, they're never empty, unlike a blender pen. Okay. So I'm just going to squeeze it a little bit and get some ink to come down, some water to come down, so I can pull up a little water and take it to my pad, my little fake pad that I made. Okay, so I'm coloring in the pants. I just love watercoloring. I don't know if I always liked art when I was a kid. I might have. I don't really remember. I do remember art class when I was in junior high. We called it junior high. What do they call it now? Middle school. Okay. So I don't know if you can see how easy these are to use. So I'm just going to bring in a little darker on these. And watercolor paper is so forgiving. It is the best. It is, unlike, you know, basic white cardstock. Oh, I think I colored in her shirt by mistake. Oh, well, she has high-rise pants on. That was actually part of her shirt. Well, I don't think I can. Let me see. I've got a paper towel here, and it's a good idea if you're going to use a water painter to just have a paper towel handy. See if I can get some of that to come back up. I don't know if I can. I might be able to get a little of that color to go away. So by adding water right here, I'm actually diluting that color, and it's actually going away. It's working. Yay. Because I didn't want that to be part of her pants. Okay, good. Now I'm going to color in her shirt. Now, let me see if I can do this properly. Probably can't even see the ink on here on the block, but it's on there. And you can see I'm pulling it up. It's hard to do upside down. That's why I can't really see. I'm going to blame it on that I messed it up. Yeah, that's good. Okay, I can actually shade that in a little bit if I want to by doing a little darker pink. And I could do that. I'm going to add a little darker pink right here. And I'm just going to add a little shading right here. And the stamp kind of gives you some guidance, right, on all these little areas. And that makes it really easy to shade and bring in a little darker color. Okay, now I'm going to do her hair. Oh, no, first I'm going to do, oops, dropped my lid. I'm going to do this gray, and I'm going to do what she's sitting on. So this is gray granite over here. So she's kind of sitting on I guess maybe like some stairs, some wooden, I don't know. Obviously not making them wood, I'm making them gray. Maybe she's at a park. I don't know. Why do I always have to make up a story? That's me. Okay, so I'm not bringing the color, like I'm not coloring it right up to the line, am I? I'm just going like close. And it works for me. It's more artsy that way. Okay. All right. I like it. Now I'm going to take that color off of there. I'm going to start over with a different palette. Now I'm going to use some browns. So I'm going to use, let's see, I'm going to go with, what brown do we have? I have this dark brown. So I have Early Espresso. And I have black, basic black. So I think I might do her cup in basic black and maybe even her flip-flops. Okay, so first I'm going to do her hair. Bring up a little water. Ooh, that was a lot of water. Yes, that was a lot of water. Okay, maybe too much. It's okay. We'll make it work. We'll make it work. Ugh, I love this technique. Okay, I think that's it on that. I think I'm going to do her cup in brown. And these water painters are awesome. They're pointy and they are so easy to get accurate. Cute. Okay, now I'm going to do her flip-flops in black. Okay, I'm sorry. I can't, I'm not talking because I'm concentrating. I actually have black flip-flops, and this doesn't look like me, but because I don't have brown hair. But actually, my hair is actually brown. It's a little blonde right now, but it's normally brown. Okay, do I need to color her skin? Good question. I think I do. And if I do, what color would it be? Well, I don't really have a skin tone. So maybe I'll just leave it like it is. Don't really have I mean, the closest thing to a skin tone would either be Bubble Bath. Ooh, should be really pink. Let's see how it looks. Because I already used petal pink on her shirt, so I don't want to do petal pink. Let's see how this looks. Oh, I don't know. Might be okay if I do a little bit of color on her skin. Not a lot. Yeah. I actually like it. It's not so stark white. I could even paint her toenails, but I'm not going to. I could, but I'm not going to. Okay, she's done. Now I'm going to clean this off. Put some water on here. Clean this off. See, easy cleanup. All right, now have that done. Have this done, so let's get our card going. I'm going to use soft sea foam as my card base. So this is 5.5 by 8.5. I'm going to fold this in half. Nice fold with my bone folder. Okay, and then I'm going to be using the 6x6 Hello Irresistible paper. This you can find in my online store. If you're interested in it, you don't want to go to the online store, you just want to order it. It's the item number is 161139, and I think it's $12.50 for the pack. Okay, so I'm going to be using this piece and this piece and a little piece that was left over. I'm going to put that on the inside. Okay, I have a piece of Lost Lagoon, and look, I used Lost Lagoon on her pants, so I'm going to put that down first. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and use my Stampin' Seal. Center that. Okay, and then I have this. Now, I could use either side. I kind of like the flowers, so I'm going to go with the flowers. Okay, I'm going to put that down next. Now we're going to layer this kind of like a little bit like that so that the green is behind it, but it's not perfectly lined up. It's just a little bit, I don't know, cattywampus. Okay, and then go ahead, put a little extra on there since it's got 2 layers. And I want her straight, and the other paper, you know what? Maybe I should have moved that up a little higher so I could put my little sentiment at the bottom. Okay, so I have this, and I'm going to put this down here. So I'm going to pop this up with a couple dimensionals. Super simple card, but I like it. Thinking of you. Okay, and then I'm going to put this little piece on the inside. Just right here on the edge. Not totally on the edge, but... So that was just under a 1/2 inch by 5.5. Okay, I think it needs a little bit of a trim. There we go. Okay, so there is our card today. Watercoloring with your water painter, and use either your Stampin' Write markers or your pads. And you could even use pencils. Pencils would work great too. I might do one with pencils. You want to make sure you have your Stazon cleaner and your watercolor paper if you're going to do this. Okay, so hope you enjoyed this today, and I will see you on Tuesday. Thanks so much. Have a great weekend.